employees of state-owned companies. The Ministry of Labor launches an initiative to Omanize the position of fuel station manager at companies providing the service. And 18 additional kilometers of the Adam Hayma Thamraid dual road is open for traffic. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. The Oman Investment Authority announced the completion of the salary and benefits rationalization project for employees of state-owned companies as part of the approach that the agency draws in order to govern the performance of companies in various fields to enhance profits, efficiency and productivity. The project aims to legalize the system of salaries, bonuses and benefits on the basis of realism commensurate with the challenges that the Omani economy is going through, taking into account the nature of the sector to which the company belongs, in addition to enhancing the financial sustainability aspect of companies through the savings that are hoped to be achieved from this procedure, and taking into account competitiveness in some sectors, according to what is known, provided that the implementation of the project outputs will start from next April. The launch of the project will witness by holding workshops targeting the heads of boards of directors, executive heads and human resources managers in order to familiarize them with the new regulatory framework and its implementation mechanisms, as well as answering all inquiries that may revolve around the project. The Ministry of Labor and the Oman Society for Oil Services (OPAL) has launched an initiative to Omanize the position of fuel station manager for holders of higher diplomas and bachelor's degrees in business management and related fields. This initiative comes within the framework of the Ministry and the Society's vision of localizing, enabling and developing the sector with capable national outputs, able to manage work in these stations, as 655 fuel stations located in the Sultanate will benefit from them. The ministry stated that besides this initiative, there will be other initiatives that will be revealed in coordination with the private sector. The ministry added that they have involved these sectors in the process of localizing any job to ensure the continuity of such jobs and ensure that the localizing process is handled by stakeholders in these sectors. The localizing process of fuel station manager will be followed up by Oman Society for Oil Services (OPAL), Oman Oil, Shell and Maha. The companies affirmed that they will work on improving the quality of services provided in fuel stations and will support the station managers in their duties. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology opened today 18 additional kilometers of the Adam Hayma Thamraid dual carriageway into traffic. With the opening of this part of the road, 262 kilometers of this project have been opened for traffic out of 317.5 kilometers that constitute the overall length of the road, which starts from the Wilaya of Adam in the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliya to the Wilaya of Hayma in the Governorate of Al-Wusta. The opened part includes the construction of a two-lane asphalt road with a width of 3 meters and 75 centimeters for each lane, an external shoulder with a width of 3 meters and an inner shoulder with a width of 1.5 meters, and a middle island separating the two directions with a width ranging between 20 and 24 meters. With the opening of this section of the Adam Hayma Thamraid Road, the total of the dual road opened so far has reached 280 kilometers out of a total of 317.5 kilometers. An arts exhibition featuring Oman's untouched nature and its connection with the people was held in Muscat. The exhibition was organized by Her Highness Sayyida Mayan bin Shihab Al Saeed under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Kamil bin Fahd bin Mahmoud Al Saeed. The one-month event highlighted the beauty of nature and life features in Oman. An electronic auction will be held to sell these works, and proceeds will be granted to Al-Rahma Association for Motherhood and Child Welfare. The Syrian army's air defenses responded to an Israeli missile attack on several targets south of the capital Damascus late yesterday. Syria's military said the air defenses shot down several missiles before they hit their targets. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, an opposition war monitor, said Israel struck positions in the southern province of Sueda, adding that there were casualties. In recent months, Israeli officials have expressed concern that Hezbollah is trying to establish production facilities to make precision-guided missiles. U.S. Congress has formally validated Joe Biden's presidential election victory on a day that saw a time-honored ceremony became a nightmare of unprecedented political terror. The House and Senate certified the Democrats' electoral college win earlier today after a violent throng of pro-Trump rioters spending hours running rampant through the Capitol. The rampage began shortly after President Donald Trump repeated his unfounded claims of election fraud to thousands of rallying demonstrators. 13 Republican senators and dozens of GOP representatives had planned to force debate and votes on perhaps 6 different states' votes. Biden defeated Trump by 306 to 232 electoral votes and will be inaugurated January 20th. Supporters of President Donald Trump yesterday stormed the Capitol, forcing members into hiding and halting the formal congressional electoral vote count to certify President-elect Joe Biden's victory for more than 6 hours. Trump on Wednesday had encouraged his supporters to march on the Capitol to protest lawmakers' actions and later appeared to excuse the violent occupation of the Capitol by the mob. Authorities said 4 people died during the violence. 1 woman was shot by an officer outside the House chamber, and 3 others died in medical emergencies during the occupation of the building. Trump later, and for the first time, acknowledged his defeat in the November 3rd election and announced there would be an orderly transition on January 20th after Congress concluded the electoral vote count today, certifying President-elect Joe Biden's victory. Japan declared a state of emergency in Tokyo and 3 nearby areas today as coronavirus cases continue to surge, hitting a daily record of 2,447 in the capital. Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga issued the declaration at the government task force for the coronavirus. The state of emergency lasts from tomorrow until February 7th and centers around asking restaurants and cafes to close at 8 p.m. and people stay home and not mingle in crowds. The declaration carries no penalties, but it works as a strong request while Japan juggles to keep its economy going. Shopping malls and schools will remain open. Movie theaters, museums, and other events will be asked to reduce attendance. Suga said vaccinations are expected to start by the end of next month in Japan. He said he hoped the vaccination program would make people in Japan more supportive of plans to hold the rescheduled Tokyo Olympics later this year. The Games were originally scheduled for last year but were postponed because of the pandemic. Heavy snowfall continues to cover Italy's central and northern regions of Perugia and Prato Cornico. Firefighters cleared roads in the central region of Umbria. In the north of the country, firefighters shoveled piles of snow from the rooftop of a warehouse that had partially collapsed. Still to come in our news bulletin. Caves tourism in the Sultanate is an economic source and geological heritage enjoyed by the Omani environment. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Ministry of Health announced that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 130,070, while the total number of deaths reached 1,505. The total recovered cases reached 122,556, which is 94.3% of the total recovery rate. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients during the 24 hours reached 69, of which 29 are in intensive care units. The transfer of Muscat Securities Market to closed public stock company under the name Muscat Stock Exchange Company is a great change towards the development of capital sector in the Sultanate. The company will be owned by Oman Investment Authority. This transformation keeps pace with Oman Vision 2040, aiming at enhancing funding alternatives for comprehensive transformation towards economic diversification in the Sultanate. It also comes to be in line with the requirements of international organizations, as this move gives the market independence, professionalism and objectivity in managing its operations and making decisions. The Ministry of Energy and Minerals signed Memorandum of Understanding with Oman Environmental Services Holding Company, BIA, in order to organize waste management sector as well as safe disposal of waste. The agreement came in the framework of enabling operators working in the Sultanate to follow best practices in fields related to energy and mine sector, including fields related to environment preservation. The agreement was signed from the ministry's side by His Excellency Dr. Mohammed bin Hamad al-Rumhi, Minister of Energy and Mining, while Engineer Tariq bin Ali Al-Amri, CEO of BIA, represented BIA Company. The competition of the 6th round of the 18th Annual Festival for Camel Races, organized by the Royal Court Affairs, represented by the Royal Camel Races, were concluded today at Suhar Racecourse in the Governorate of North Al-Batina. The 2 days race included 45 rounds for all age groups of participating camels from different governorates of the Sultanate. The matter that confirms the importance of this race in terms of heritage, social and economic aspects. The concluding ceremony of the race was held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Muhammad al-Saidi, Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, in the presence of a number of ministers and undersecretaries. The Sultanate is rich with diverse types of caves which attract many enthusiasts and geological researchers from inside and outside the Sultanate. A group of Omani hikers went on a thrilling adventure to explore Al-Huta Cave and its charming geological treasures. More details in the following report.
From this point in Al-Huta village in the Wilaya of Al-Hamra, these ambitious adventurers will set out on an exciting excursion to explore the stunning geological features of Al-Huta Cave. They will take around 6 to 7 hours to reach their final destination. Al-Huta Cave is a natural geological treasure that lies at the foothills of Jabal Shams. These valleys and slopes descend into this marvelous underground wonder. Hence, before abseiling down to the cave, the adventurers prepare the necessary tools, putting on the required gears that suit the nature of the place and guarantee their safety throughout their hike.
Before we start an adventure, we read about it and we know all the gear needed and equipment. We need today for the ropes, harness, for abseiling, and also the life jacket. For sure we need the head torch because it will be dark, and also the helmet. It's very important. And also we, as a safety precaution, we tell someone that we will finish the cave at this time. So if we are late or something happen, he will just call us and or inform any emergency. Also, as I said, the harness and the life jacket is very important because there will be a lot of swimming here, so we need it.
It's an adventure to the Huta cave. The length of the cave or the path is 4.5, around 4.5 kilometer. It has like two big water pool. Almost they are one of the biggest one is like in the middle of the cave. It's around 800 meter and deep of 15 meter. We are lucky these days because the water level is going down. So almost we have only to swim and using the proper tools for swimming, life jacket. There's no need for diving because, as I said, the water level is going down, and hopefully we complete it within the planned time.
As soon as the hikers start entering the cave, the breathtaking journey begins. They gasp in astonishment as they ponder upon the exquisite natural variety of the stalagmites and stalactites, in addition to the rare living creatures inside the cave.
Personally, will be an addition for me, as I love hiking and being a while in this field for 4 years, especially in Oman. So it's going to be expedition for me, a new experience going on this cave. At the same time, we're trying to promote the tourism of Oman in different ways, as an adventure, not the normal ways that everyone knows about it, the Huta cave.
The geology of the cave and its rich ecosystem is yet a scientific adventure into the diverse and captivating Omani nature, which attracts enthusiasts from all over the world. صالح بن خلفان الرحبي, ولاية of الحمراء الداخلية, Governorate.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. The Oman Investment Authority announces the completion of the salary and benefits rationalization project for employees of state-owned companies. The Ministry of Labor launches an initiative to Omanize the position of fuel station manager at companies providing the service. And 18 additional kilometers of the Adam Hayma Thamreit dual road is opened for traffic. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.